All right, let's get into Jaylen Waddle then. Obviously, this is Vince's guy because he wants as many Jaylens on the Eagles as possible. So, Jaylen Waddle, obviously receiver from Alabama. He's 22 years old, 5'10", 183, and he ran a 4.37 at his pro day this year in his 40. Producer Vince just brought up some of his highlights. Let's go through some of your positives and any negatives that you have, Aiden, and I will toss mine in there as well as we go. So
Okay,
Jaylen Waddle.
Jaylen Waddle. First thing, Vince, you'll love this. There was a highlight I was watching where Jalen Hurts threw him a touchdown. They're like, Jalen, and I was like, oh God.
There we go.
But I was listening to Greg Cosell break down his tape. He said he's a motion receiver, so you like to get him moving at the line of scrimmage. We're talking bubble screens, wide receiver screens, jet sweeps, anything to like get his engine revved up. Because once it's really hard to catch him. Mm-hmm. That was my main takeaway. And you look at the Eagles, what they're trying to do. That's Nick Sirianni's like MO is having these quick hitters get the ball out of the quarterback's hands and let the receiver make a play. It doesn't have to be, you saw these long elongated routes from Eagles receivers last year. And you're like, what are you doing? This offensive line is terrible. They can't hold up that long. And it's going to be a lot different this year. Waddle fits that perfectly. That second burst is fantastic.
Yes. That's actually my first thing that I have was he has true second gear speed that not a lot of wide receivers have. A lot of wide receivers are burners, but he can put it into second gear and good night. And on top of that, he is so fast off the line. Mm-hmm. It's incredible. So to be able to put those two skills together, we're being extremely fast off the line. He gets a step or even sometimes two on his defender within the first 10 yards. Putting those two things together with then a second gear top end speed, I mean, it's unbelievable. And he gets to that top end speed fast.
In a hurry. Yeah, I think he's different than Henry Ruggs because Ruggs is more straight line speed. This guy's a fluent, like, I'm going to turn 5 yards into 15 yards in the blink of an eye if you turn your head the wrong way. And Vince, if you could pull the tape back up, you see deep shots on here. Like he's obviously very fast, so they take a lot of deep shots for him. But also, you see a lot of these where he's just breaking away from who's ever covering him because he's able to make one move, whether it's a slant, like you're looking at this play right here, and they're going deep. Actually, yeah, this is an intermediate route, and he just beats two people, and then all of a sudden you see the space that gets created, and he's 40 yards down the field. And a lot of it is that where it's not necessarily a bomb. They're just looking at him over the middle and stuff like that, and all of a sudden the receivers or the defender's gone. That second burst of speed is what sticks out to me.
And I also have that in my notes here on him was yak, yak, yak. He just finds ways to get yards after the catch.
And they just ran a play on screen real quick. He caught it. There were 4 Auburn defenders in the screen when he caught it. And 30 yards later, there was no one around, and he scored a touchdown. That, if I could sum up him in one play, it would be that play.
Yep. And on top of these type of plays, the deep shots that you said, he catches the ball in stride. He never loses speed when he's catching the ball. It is right into the hands and bang, I'm going. And some other things that I saw is that he can still, on top of getting the speed, catching the intermediate, the yak, the long throws, he can get vertical too on defenders and catch the ball at the high point and get the tough catch on top of, and he's a good route runner. He's polished, and he's a great returner. I think that's how he got hurt, obviously, last year. But I mean, on top of being a dynamic wide receiver, he's a dynamic returner as well.
That was my next point. Is there was fantastic highlights of him being a punt returner or a kick returner. He's pretty much like what Reagor was supposed to be, and still could be. But just like in basketball, when you load up on shooting, just load up on speed. So if you even, it doesn't mean you give up on Reagor by getting this guy, but I agree the kick return and punt return stuff too. We are, let me just make my statement. I'm in.
Julio
Waddle. We are 2 weeks away. They're going to draft this kid. I'm going to be like, if he didn't break his leg, he would have been the first receiver off the board. They're really getting a steal. He was actually the best receiver at Alabama.
Jamar Chase, who? I didn't really love him that much.
I love,
A
like
little
Jamar
overrated.
Chase was good, but Waddle just had too many other mouths to feed at Alabama. That's why he couldn't compete with stats. If he didn't get hurt, he would have won the Heisman. We are 2 weeks from that.
I love that. Did you have, before we move on, did you have any negatives about Waddle? I had two.
Yeah. The only one that I had is the last time I saw him, it looked like a deer who got hit by a car and was limping off the highway. That is my only concern. I haven't seen this kid play football since he was limping all over the national championship field, and I didn't think he had an ankle ligament attached to his body.
Besides the injury, I only saw two that are kind of one and the same. I saw that, like, if it's a one-on-one physical battle, he can lose those sometimes, and he can be tackled easily in the open field. But that's if someone catches him, or if someone's there. That's something he can work on. He can get stronger in the NFL. So that's not something that I'm overly concerned about, especially with his speed.
Me neither. I think, like you said, I think he's going to beat a lot of people just because of his route running and because of his burst. And that actually leads in perfectly to the next Alabama receiver, if you're good to go there.
Absolutely.
I think there's some similarities in terms of what the cons are. So let's go to Devontae Smith next.